What is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back with some more Marvel Rivals Clone Rumble. It's my first time playing that, but it's just background gameplay. Today we're going to be talking about the whole possibility of Grand Theft Auto 6 and a whole discourse around it being possibly $100. Is it going to be $100? Should it be $100? Is it justifiable or is it just absolutely not? We're here to discuss that today. So, ever since Grand Theft Auto 6 revealed its first trailer, I'd say about, I don't know the exact time frame, maybe a year ago, but sometime last year, and ever since it's getting closer and closer to its inevitable release date, a lot of people thought that this game is going to be big, massive, huge. And I've talked about the possibility of, yeah, this is going to be a game that might warrant that $100 price tag. And over the course of the last year, we've heard many different discourses from many different people talking about whether it's going to happen, whether it should, whether it's justified or not. So let's get right into it. Is it justifiable for Grand Theft Auto 6 to be $100? And one of the big reasons we've heard this is just the fact that it's going to be a big, massive game on a scale that we've never seen before, and it warrants that. Well, here's the reality. That is BS. That is absolute BS. Guys, I've been playing games for almost 3 decades, and there's tons of games that have a huge, massive scale. I think the thing we get confused with games and scale is games and scale, and they have extreme graphics and stuff like that. And I get it. There's going to be a lot of things going on with Grand Theft Auto 6. No question about it. And it is going to be a massive game. But, guys, tell me games that we haven't played in our lifetime that don't have massive scales. And they weren't being forced to cost that much money. Then you get to the whole, well, it costs so much to make. Well, guys, let's just be honest. A lot of games have bloated, developmental costs anyway. They don't even deserve it. I mean, take movies, for example. How many movies have you seen that you have watched and you're just like, that was the budget for that? Where'd the budget go? That doesn't even make any sense. Like, there's no reason that budget is that much for that type of movie. Like, it didn't even feel like that type of movie. It didn't feel like an expensive movie, but somehow the budget's that high. Like, where did it go? I mean, we've had those feelings before. And sometimes we have them with video games. Like, why is the budget so high? Now, granted, Grand Theft Auto is one of those few game studios that probably can get away with a high budget because we know it's going to sell a bunch. All right, regardless what the price is, we already know it's going to sell a bunch. It's inevitable, as Thanos once said. Like, it's inevitable. Like, it's what's ultimately going to happen. And we get it. We know from past games that Grand Theft Auto is going to have a lot of things to do. As I said, it's going to be a big, massive game. I just want to get the whole notion that, oh my God, it's not like we've never seen games of this scale before. We have seen big budget games, but does that warrant justifying a $100 game? Because the other argument we heard, more recent one with streamers, that if people are willing to drop hundreds of dollars a year on cosmetics and skins and stuff like that, why is it a problem that people would have a problem spending $100 for a game? And the problem with that argument is real simple. You see, with skins, they're an option. You don't have to buy the skin to play the base game. Now, granted, for like the free-to-play games like the Fortnite and stuff like that, that's obviously where they get their money from, skins and battle passes. But let's just say, for argument's sake, that you had to buy the game to play it. Even so, it's not like you have to buy the skins. It's an option. You either buy the skins or you don't. It's not warranted to play the game. Therefore, it's the option if you want to spend however amount of money you want to on something that's optional. It's not required. That's up to the spender or the gamer. With the whole thing of the game being $100, that's a little bit different. Because as I said before, you're asking someone to spend up front $100 just to be able to play the game. And a lot of people up front aren't willing to spend $100 just to be able to play a game. That's where the problem arises. And believe it or not, there are a lot of people out there who have never even bought a skin or a cosmetic in their entire life. I'm not one of them. I clearly am not one of them. But there are people out there that haven't. So asking those type of people to be like, hey, drop $100 just to be able to play a game, that's a big deal. That's a huge deal. And that's going to be, no for that whole argument there. It's not even going to be a question. So, yeah, if you want to say that, hey, people do spend a lot on skins, and they do. There's no question about it, yeah. But the difference there is that's optional. You don't have to do that. That's a choice. To play the game, to drop $100, that's a lot different story. And to go from $70, which is what it is at max now, to $100 like that, that's a big jump. Guys, I came from a time period where games were $50, and now we're double that. Yeah, that's a huge thing. And the whole argument, oh, well, Grand Theft Auto 6 is such a massive game. Guys, there's been tons of massive games in our life. Like, Red Dead Redemption 2 was a massive game. That wasn't costing $100. Skyrim was a massive game. I mean, there's so many massive games. There's a lot of JRPGs that are massive games. I mean, like, it's not like we've never seen massive games before. And no argument, oh, well, the graphics engine. Once again, guys, that's not changing the game itself in terms of its scope and massivity, if you want to call it like that. I don't even know if that's even a word, but it is now. The point is that that's a big, tall order. But here's the reality. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that Grand Theft Auto 6 does release for $100. If you do it now or ever, there's no going back. If this game becomes $100, or any game, for that matter, released for $100, there's no going back from that. Because what's going to happen is that it's going to give businesses and companies that feeling of being like, hey, well, this game released for $100, and it was successful, because we know Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be successful, no matter how much it costs. Why can't we do it? Why not? And it's ultimately going to set a dangerous precedent of, hey, they did it, why not us? And the rest is history. And once it gets to that point, it's going to come down to, like, hey, all games are going to start to gravitate towards that amount. And maybe some games might slowly get to that point, but yeah. Guys, don't think businesses won't try to justify it in any way. So, for the whole argument of, oh, it's not a big deal, it is a big deal, because it's going to cause the whole game industry to try to warp towards making $100 normal. I mean, hell, as I said before, when I grew up, games were $50 when I bought them. And then slowly but surely, they went from 60, now they're at the 70 point for some games. And their whole argument is, oh, some games are just worth it. I know for the whole PlayStation exclusives, they've always try to justify the $70 price point with the whole PS5 library and stuff like that. Don't think they won't try to go higher, because they're just trying to get money out of you at the end. So any way they can justify that high price point, they're going to do it. And they're going to do it with a smile on their face. So if they start now with GTA 6, they're not going to just stop with that. I mean, the only way they'd possibly stop is if it was that much of a disaster. But let's be honest. As I said before, we know GTA 6 is not going to be a disaster. It's going to be the most sold game whatever year it comes out. It seems like it'll come out this year, but whenever it comes out, we already know that. We already know it's going to be the most sold. No questions asked. We already know it's going to be the biggest release title, even with that $100 price point. So it's something that you ultimately got to understand, that once it happens, there's no going back. There is no going back from it. But here's some more grim news, and this is probably the grimmest news of all. When it does happen, that video games go $100 price point, whether it's with GTA 6 or any game in the future, and you heard that, when it does happen, because honestly, it will happen at some point. And that's the sad reality of it, is that I will see the $100 price point at some point in my lifetime playing games. Because as I've told before, game prices have gone up over the course of time. I remember when they were $50. I remember when they went from 50 to 60 as a norm. I remember people not liking that. And it's ridiculous. Why do we got to pay an extra $10? But that's the thing. History proved that people were still willing to pay that much for games anyway. And it's not like games took a huge dip in the amount of sales they had overall. Because if you look at games, people are playing games more now than ever before in history, because games became more and more and more popular. And just like from 50 to 60, it went from 60 to 70. And while there was a little discourse against it, people still are playing and buying games now more than ever before. And eventually, at some point, it's going to go from 70 to 80, which is why I don't think GTA 6 personally is going to go the $100 route. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe they'll try it. Who knows at this point? But eventually, sometime in my lifetime, that $100 price point is going to happen just to get the base game. Not even like the game with the expansion pass. That used to be how it went. Like, hey, games, you get an expansion pass, and then after the expansion pass, then you have, you know, the base game and expansion pass, $100 around that point. But now it's going to get to a point where the base game is just going to be $100 with the expansion pass, maybe $150, maybe even more than that. Who knows? But ultimately, yeah, I unfortunately see it becoming inevitable, and that's a sad reality. I don't personally like it. I don't think anyone personally likes it, but that's unfortunately what's going to happen. Now, could this possibly change people's paying habits in terms of, hey, maybe we just won't buy games when they come out, maybe we'll wait for sales more often? Well, see, that's a hard thing to say, because a lot of people, when they want that new big thing, not just with games, but anything in life, if they want it, they'll drop a price on it regardless. They'll drop whatever amount they need just to get it, because some people just want to play or get the next good thing, the next new thing, just say they have it. So yeah, I don't see that inhibiting a lot of people, unfortunately. Now, I don't know how it's going to look at the overall sales, because let's be honest, even though I do see the $100 price point coming at some point, and it might be a long time before that too, I do think that certain game franchises can probably get away with it more than others. Grand Theft Auto being one of them. But let's just do devil's advocate here for a second and say, hey, you know what? What if your favorite game franchise became $100? Would you drop it? I'll do one for me. If Resident Evil 9 came out and it was $100, would I drop $100 to play it? I'll be honest with you, I love Resident Evil to death. And if I wasn't doing this channel and producing content, I most likely would not do it. I'd just wait or find some way to get a sale on it, because, as I said, that's a tall order to ask just to play a game. Like, we're not talking about just the expansion and stuff. We're talking about the whole game, the base game, $100. I don't know if I'd do it. If I was doing this channel, I probably wouldn't do it. But I'd only probably do it for something like a Resident Evil big-time thing, because I'm just not somebody that wants me dropping $100 for games, regardless of what they are. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of the $100 price point, even though I do think at one point it will be inevitable, and I hope I'm wrong. But as I always like to say, that is my opinion. I want to hear your guys' opinion. What do you feel about the $100 price point? Do you think it's validated for a game like GTA 6 or not? Do you not want to see it ever? Or are you someone that sees it possibly happening sometime in the future? I still think it's got a little ways to go, because I think they want to go up gradually and not a huge spurt. So go from 70 to 80, 80 to 90, 90 to 100, not from 70 to 100. And if Resident Evil 9, for some reason, if it were to be $100, would you drop that to purchase that game, since I produce a lot of Resident Evil content on the channel? Let me know down in the comment section down below. But thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and hopefully I can see you guys back in the next one. Thanks, and I'll see you all later. Peace.